I've already shared this file for your study, but still, we'll go through this protocol development, and this is one of the compulsory part of the curriculum. And the whole project proposal may not be ready, but the main thing, the topic and the method, these two are very important. And at least one should collect 30 data set, 30 data, 30%, for example, 30 patients or 30 person or 30 families like this, and for the purpose of analysis. So, in project proposal, I will be quickly going through it because all of you are learned people. It's just for the sake of going through it. Abstract, then the introduction. In this, why we are doing this study. That is the one thing. And in material methods also will be going details, the population, the sample size, etc. Budget, so far as we are concerned, budget should be more than 50 lakh rupees because a smaller budget, if you want to go to the funding agency, they may not like it. For the in-house thing, maybe a 15, 20,000 budget is okay. Otherwise, when we go for the funding agency, it is better to have more than 50 lakh. And also in India, there are more than 2,000 funding agency for various research projects. And timeline chart is also that important, particularly for larger projects. You can keep a framework of 2 years, 3 years. But the quick, if you go through the problem solving for better health exercise purpose, it could be within 1 or 2 months. And nowadays, if you want to publish or if you do not want to publish a research paper, ethical committee you should have for screening your research project. If you are having a small organization, then you can contact the nearby medical college or other colleges, pharmacy college, nursing college, etc., to review our project. And the references are important because if someone is already having done it, then why we should reinvent the wheel? That's why. And in references, the important thing is plagiarism. When you are going to refer something, you need to write down the source of it, right? Now, in abstract and summary, we should write down our what is our goal and what we have done so far, something on analysis, and then budget and timeline. This is a very quickly person should be able to review that what is the topic in details. They can go based on your abstract. And in introduction, the first thing why you want to do it, why you want to do this study, right? And based on that, you move further. For example, in our own case, when I found that myself was suffering from vitamin A deficiency, so the background is that when the even learned people don't know about their night blindness because of the light, so I would be writing that background. And the rationale would be that if you find our low cost instrument to detect vitamin deficiency, it will be useful to large number of the people. So the topic which you are taking, whether it will be addressing to a small sector, larger sector, where it will be applicable to only village area or a urban area like that. And in material method, the most important thing is your population and sample and sampling technique, sample size. The word sampling frame is very important because before you go for sample size or sampling technique, if you don't have a sampling frame, how you are going to take a sample? Now it's very difficult if you want to take a sample from the large district, right? You doesn't mean it doesn't mean that you need to have name of each and every individuals. But if you are doing a PPS sampling, right? The in that case, the sample your sample when you are selecting from a particular village, then you should have at least a list of village with that population. If you are doing a sampling within a city, then you should have a ward-wise at least population roughly. Then you will be able to prepare a sampling frame. And sampling frame doesn't mean that you need to have name of each and every individual, but the unit which you will be selecting, that unit you should have. And you can have a geographical allotment also. For example, in a cluster sampling technique or lots sampling technique, what we are doing that we don't have the list of individuals, but we do have a geographical area. And from that, we are selecting the sample size. So the cluster sampling technique and lots sampling technique, they are almost similar as far as the sampling frame is concerned. The only thing in lot sampling technique, uh, there is a the pre-calculated Excel file is there, which I will show you. And in the cluster sampling technique, you have a previous decision that you are going to take a 30 cluster or you are going to take a 40 cluster. In cluster sampling technique, if you are going to take a 30 cluster, you need to take 7 individual in each cluster. And if you are going to take a 40 cluster, you need to take 6 individuals in each cluster. I repeat, initially in cluster sampling technique, we used to take 210 samples. But nowadays, we go for 240 sample. Suppose we want to take the around cluster sampling we want to do in place of Gujarat, where I'm located. I will be having the list of the taluka, and from each taluka and Ahmedabad proper, I will be having a wards. So we have a urban area and rural area, 250 wards urban and 250 taluka is a block, you can say. So there will be a 50 such the 500 blocks and the wards will be there. And I can stratify in between two the urban and rural. And from that 250, right, uh, rural and urban, I can select 105 here, 105 there. And in that, I need to have the population of each and every block and each and every ward. And then the by a special technique will be selecting the cluster. From each cluster further, 6 or 7 individuals will be selected geographically, randomization. And when I say geographic randomization, just you can imagine that there is a whole village is there, let's say, having let's say 5,000 population. But then you want to select 6 individuals from that village. In that case, you take a center point of the village and take a north as a 0 degree, and then you have 360 degree. So out of 0 to 360, you randomly select one figure, and let's say it is 143. Say, so on 0 to 143 degree, you have a scale in which from center to the end of the village, you have approximate distance. And let's say that is the now because you have a Google location, etc. Distance is not that difficult nowadays. So let's say the last point of that village is 400 meters away in that direction, from center point. The last point is. So from 0 to 400, again, you take a random number, and let's say that is 67. So at a 143-degree, 67 meter you go ahead on that direction, and you will find a spot. And nearby that spot, you select your 6 or 7 individuals. If you are selecting 40 clusters, you select 6 individuals. That will be cluster sampling technique. So, uh, I will be showing you how do we get cumulative population. That Excel file will be looking after this session is over. And when you need to write down what will the procedure of data collection. You are asking for an interview, or your person is assessing the self-assessment is there, or in case of children, you will be getting information from mother or father or both the parents like that. That is how you are going to write down in detail. Now, in material method, the further things would be your study is at which level, community, hospital, geographical location, etc. Then this is the heart of the research. Suppose you want to find out whether the treatment is perfect or not, or whether the intervention is going to work or not. For that, you are going to do a randomized control trial in which you have, let's say, one population in which you are going to do it. You have collected a sample. And out of that sample, those who agree to undergo this intervention, you will be randomizing into 2 groups, 3 groups, 4 groups, depending on your study design. And suppose you have 2 groups, one is control, other in which you are going to give a treatment. So that randomization you are doing and then following both the group. That is a randomized control trial. While if you are looking for the prognosis of a certain people, let's say people who are suffering from uh, tuberculosis, and you want to find out what is the progress, that can also be a cause study. Other thing would be that the tuberculosis patient taking treatment in allopathy, tuberculosis patient taking treatment Ayurveda, or diabetic patient in allopathy, diabetic patient in Ayurveda, both the group you follow them. You have not done randomization. The group exists naturally and you move ahead. Or you want to find out the effect of exposure and no exposure. So you can have a group working in the mines and working not working in the mines. For example, when we did study in around 1998 or so about the sewerage workers. So we took control as a gully tech workers. Same socioeconomic condition, but the occupation differs, and we follow them up for a certain period of time, a year or so, and compare what is the difference between these two groups. So in cohort, you have the existing exposure. Right? And if you want to find out the cause of disease initial period, you have a rheumatoid arthritis and no rheumatoid arthritis, and you want to go back. Case is you are taking control and taking retrospective history. That you will find out certain risk factors which is affecting, right? So it will indicate whether it will be a what are the likely causes of the disease. Um, someone. Okay. So, uh, in case control study, you will give a little bit indication. Cohort two is a much better than that. Randomized control trial, much better than that. But in randomized control trial, if you want to find out whether the cigarette is causing a problem or not, you cannot ask 50 people to use a cigarette and other 50 they don't use the cigarette. So causative factors evaluating by randomized control trial is extremely difficult, and that's why we need to do away with the case. We need to take the task from the case control and cohort trial. And as far as the prevalence of disease is concerned, I want to find out how many people are suffering from diabetes right now. That will be the cross-section study. We can do that. But if you want to find out incidence study, the prevalence study is okay. But if you want to find out incidence, then naturally we need to have a cohort study for following them up, and that will find out incidents. But then, if someone says that by a cross section study also I want to find out the incidents, can I do it? So advanced statistics can do that just from the cross section study, because in cross section study you will have data of each and every year, and from that data you can indirectly calculate at which age group they are starting to landing. A special curve you can design from cross section study, various cross section study at the different age groups, and then you can build up a model, and you can find out the incidence from that also. And let me say one word which is very important for youngsters who are attending the course: epidemiological model. I repeat the word epidemiological model. At least you should try to develop one epidemiological model of a disease. The definition of epidemiological model is basically statistical, the facts, epidemiological and statistical facts you are drawing in terms of the picture. So, for example, if today I have, let's say in India today there are, uh, let's say 1 lakh cases of malaria. So, what will be the situation after 5 years? Malaria, how many cases will be there? That is that forecasting is done, and it is basically a statistics and mathematics you are using, and you are developing your epidemiological model. What will happen that today 1 lakh people are suffering and this many people are not suffering? So how many will get cured after few days, and how much infection they will cause to others? What will be the role of immunity? What will be the role of immunization? What is the percent of the people who will be get exposed, not exposed? How much is the population at risk? And then what will be the situation after 1 month, after 2 months, like this? How many of them are taking complete treatment? How many are not taking complete treatment? How many of them are taking prophylaxis? All these factors will be taken into care, and then we'll be able to build up this epidemiological model. And those who are youngsters, they must try to build up the epidemiological model. So uh, this is something about now in sampling techniques. We have basically probability sampling, that is a random. And the word random is have a special definition in statistics. Random word says that if your sampling is random, each individual within a population has an equal chance of being selected. Nobody would say that you are making a bias. If there is a class of 100 students, I want to send 4 or 5 of them for a special, the classes on meditation. Then if I want to choose randomly, I should have a number 1 to 100. I should have a random number table, and from that, I should be selecting 4 individuals. I can't say that I would like to send a smart people. Then, if you are going to send smart people who would like to go for meditation, then we can do it. But at that time, we need to use the word purposive sampling. There was a purpose that those who are going to do something, I will be sending them only. But in that also, out of 100, 20 students says that we would like to go for meditation. So first, you have taken 20 students as a purposive sampling, that those who would like to go. And then out of the 24 people you are taking as a random sample. So there could be a combination of non-probability sampling and probability sampling, right? And the it could be a when I select, let's say out of 1,000 people, I select 5 individuals directly. It is a simple random technique. But out of 1,000, when I want to select 100 individuals, then 1,000 divided by 100, the sampling interval is 10. If there are 2,000 population, I want to select out of 2,000, 100 people. What will be sampling interval? Let me see whether you are attending or not. I write over here, I have 2000 population and I want to select uh, 50 individuals. What will be the sampling interval? Interval is equal to population divided by sample size. So in our case, 2000 divided by 50 is equal to 40. 40 is a sampling interval. So now what will happen between 1 to 40? I will be selecting one number as a random number. And that random number I can select from the currency note also. Right? My last two digit of currency note says that it is 59. Now 59 is beyond 40. 59 is beyond 14. I need the number between 1 to 40. So 59 minus 40 is 19. So 19 is my first selection random. Then add a 40 to it. So 59. Then there's another add a 40. So 99 like this. So this way I will be able to select total 50 individuals. This is an example of systematic random sampling. Now, there is another is stratified random sampling. In stratified random sampling, there are two methods: stratified simple random sample or stratified systematic random sample. If I have, I want to study about the caste distribution or within the caste, what kinds of the diseases occur, or the religion wise I want to do the study. In that case, a caste-based study, if you want to do it, let's say in a Gujarat, we have four or five major castes, SCBC, OBC, something like that. And then we divided that into four or five castes. In each caste, then we go for either simple random or systematic random. So first you do the stratification as per the street, as per the religion, as per the caste, like this, or X per the first MVS, second, third MVS. So first stratification is done, and then further you are going to do the systematic or simple random sampling. That is the various type of sampling technique. And in cluster sampling technique, if you are going to do single stage, directly you are having a list of village, and from village you are going to select the clusters. That is a single stage cluster sampling. But in multi-stage, what happens? You first initially you select the state, then you select the district, then you select the blocks, and then from blocks you select the villages. That is a multi-stage sampling technique. In the non-partisan convenience sampling, you are convenient with, that's why you take you it's the for example, you take only hospitals near to you. That is a convenience sampling. Or you have a purpose. The for example, you want only volunteers. Would you would like to? So those who will give a volunteer consent, that you will be taking purposive sampling. In quota sampling, you start taking a patients from the hospital and you decided, no, I want to have 120 individuals. The moment you have completed 120 individuals, you will stop further. That's a quota sampling. And the networking of snowball technique, in which you are going to villages, so one maternal death is there. You ask that what are other maternal deaths? Anyone else died like this? There is a snowball technique. You go from one person to other person to other person, similar patients or similar person, similar event. Right? So in that case, you have a sampling frame listing of all the members of population from which samples to be drawn. when you don't have the sampling film list of members, at least you should have list of units, list of street, list of villages like this. And the study sample means subset of population. If I ask you a question, if I ask you a question, if I have 10,000 population, can I have sample size of 10,000? Yes or no? Quickly. If I have 10,000 population, if I take a, can I take a sample size of 10,000? Yes or no? Somebody should write down, or at least write down, do not know. Answer is yes, because you can see that study sample is a group selected, is a subset of population. Huh? So the it could be full population also, and study population from which you are doing the sample. This is basically the population in which you're doing a study. So it could be a hospital population, but hospital might be catering the several area, 10,000 villages, 5,000 villages like that. So population-based study and hospital-based study. In hospital-based study, that is likely to be biased. Suppose if you want to find out how much expenses people do for their illnesses. If you do in a private hospital, different data. In a government hospital, there will be different data. If you actually go to the community, it will be a different data. So, which population you are selecting, based on that, you will get a data. And you need to write down this clearly that study is applicable to what and the target population. That means to which your study fits. For example, you are studying the rural area, but you are doing the study on the pregnant woman. So your target population is women having a pregnancy. Or even if past pregnancy, if you are referring, then the lactating woman or woman who give a birth to a child, all those can be included. Now the material method, you go ahead. See, your you need to write down what are the factors which you would going to study, right? Will be the outcome is whether the illness recovered, not recovered like this, right? And what are the variables which are you going to study? And based on that, data collection, management, etc. will be there. And the pre-testing should be uh, can be around 5 to 10 individuals. That will usually is sufficient. Pre-testing will be, and the pilot study is a different than the pre-testing. Pre-testing of the questionnaire is it can be done on 5 to 10%. But pilot study should have this the 5 to 10% sample size, whatever they're written, right? So for that, the pilot study work is better. But otherwise, pre-testing you can do in 5 to 10 individuals, but pilot study, if you want to have some kind of inference, particularly you want to when you want to estimate the sample size exactly, the pilot study will be helpful. Now, in the data analysis part, the descriptive analysis in which for each and every variable, you are going to have what is the means of that, what are the percentage, let's say how many people sick, how many not sick, and what is the mean hemoglobin level, like this. So there's a kind of analysis, but then when you do tables like this, gender versus illness, or you can do the different kinds of treatment and the outcome, or when you say the smokers and non-smokers, or you can say the type of diet and the illness, like this. That is a univariate analysis. And then the multivariate analysis, in which you will be doing something like logistic regression analysis, whereby you will, or you can have a comparison between three or four groups together. That will be helpful in controlling the compounding variables. Uh, Budget, I don't want to go into detail. And the already now we discussed lots of things from here. Right? And this hypothesis you should have before you start your study. And by with the help of analysis, you'll be either rejecting or you'll be accepting the hypothesis. And when you discuss, there is not a single study on the world in which you will not find a limitation. So you can start with your limitation, then conclude, and based on study, you will be recommending. Limitation could be of a sample size, of the types of sample you have taken, or maybe because of a time problem. Suppose you are going for a prevalence of common cold, but if you take only 6 months, you are not taking full season, then you may not get the right amount of the prevalence, right? Or the period prevalence. That may be the reason. And of course, acknowledge whosoever help you. In reference is the example which is given over here. The authors you are writing, then the study title, and where in which journal it was done, and which year, and also the volume number and the page number. This is Vancouver side. This how you should be writing reference. For these references, if you want to do the special software are available nowadays for organizing uh, the references. Zotero is also one of the software which can be utilized. Now, uh, I would, if you have any question, it's okay. Otherwise, I would like to go for lot sampling technique. Any questions so far? So you can think of question while I start sharing my screen. This IPS sampling technique is a very easy but very quick and very effective method. And this original file is given to you. Remember, this will be useful for the. Now, can you see this? Yeah. So this file is shared with you. If you have difficult to find out, then you let me know. Very, very important file for the purpose of two purpose. One is the loss quality assessment sampling technique, and other is the same thing can be used for the cluster sampling also. Now, what you are supposed to do, that first is ID number, they are randomly given. Then is a village name. In this case, you can use the unit name also. And this is a population. Then this is a cumulative population. Then this shows from where you are supposed to take a sample and how many uh, the cumulative sample, 1, 2, 3, like this. You can go up to 30, 40, how much, 240, whatever it may be. In loss quality assessment, usually we go for the 19 sample size. And for cluster sampling technique, you are going for 240 sample size. And this shows that from which cluster, how many you will be taking. So when you do it, you just make a copy of it. And then when you do the copy, you should keep somewhere this two things ready: population and the list of village. So in class, for example, you have class 3, class 4, 5 like this. Then in that you have particular population. Then you can copy and paste this also. Let us do the example of like this, and first make a copy of it. It's actually very simple. Create a copy. Now let us label this as the October 24 batch. And we are doing study in you need to pick up list of village and population only. Suppose you have this list, then you just copy paste over here in this. This is so you should have a name of unit and the population. Once you do this, then rest of the thing you can remove it. Now you have done this. You have 52 units, name and population of carton posted over here. Only you need to look at these two things. Two column is with you. Rest of the thing will be done automatically. Now, suppose you want to select 40 clusters from this. Then you write to down 40 over here. So automatically you will get 40th cluster over here. Here it is your 40th cluster. Right? So in last, your 40th cluster. And it says that from where, how many clusters you are going to select. So this is cumulative, you forget this cumulative population also you forget for time being, but your sample is over here. From here you select 2, here you select 4, select one cluster like this. If you have 19, then also from this you select one. This again, from this you select. This is how you select your 19 clusters. Now, in cluster sampling, you are further selecting from this 3,000 population one individual. Uh, in a lot sampling, you are selecting out of 3,000 1%. But in cluster sampling, out of 3,000, you are selecting 6 individuals. So when you have 40 clusters, you are selecting from each cluster, you are selecting per cluster Six individuals. So if you have two clusters over here, you are selecting 6 into 2, 12. If it is one cluster, you will be selecting six individuals like this. But when you are having a 19 lot sampling assessment, in that from each cluster, you are selecting only one individual. So from 19 clusters, from each cluster, you will select one individual randomly. How to do the randomization? That is either simple random sampling technique or geographically you should be doing it. Now, suppose you are lots quality assessment sampling technique, and these are the lot, right? Out of that, you are selected 19 lots, and each lot you are selecting one individual. Now, how to interpret this? That I have another table, and this decision rule table. Now, this table you need to study because look at this. I'm making a bit more bigger size. Just concentrate over here, and you will see what is the why this table is so important. Right now, think that you want to study the whole Bangalore city, and in whole Bangalore city, you are studying the geriatric population, and your question is whether this geriatric population you might have, let's say, around 10 lakh old people, 10 lakh, I would say, right? And out of 10 lakh individuals, you have a section. Let's say you have around, they are divided into, let's say, around the 90 subunits. 90 subunits, all 10 lakh or geriatric population is divided. And from this 90 subunits, you have selected the only 19 clusters, and from each cluster, only one individual. So now, out of this 19, your question in the study should binomial, whether they receive or don't receive. So your question is whether they are getting good respect or not, whether they are getting good respect or not, whether they have taken immunization or not, whether they have taken government service or not. So whether they are getting food or not. So any such question, a coverage kind of study, if you ask this 90 individuals and whether they're covered or not, this getting or not, if you ask this question, then out of this, you can say that whether the coverage is this many percentage or not. You cannot find out how many percent are covered. Let's say there is a old age um, scheme for government scheme for the old people. Now, whether this scheme is covering what percentage they are covering, that we cannot calculate, but we can definitely say whether this percent will be there or not. whether above this percent or not. That you can say. So now let's see that out of this, you look at the 19, out of 19, we'll see that how many people are covered over here, right? You can say the 12. So here it is a 7, right? Now in this case, one word important is at least 92% sensitive and 92% specific. That is the sensitivity and specificity of this test, right? Here I am. So look at this out of 19. If 7 are covered, 7 have received what you can say, and if 12 are covered, what you can say. So 7 out of 19 is less than 50%. So you can say that coverage will not be more than 50%. That will be your interpretations. If out of 19 old people, if 7 people are covered with a scheme, you can say that the coverage in the whole Bangalore will not be more than 50%. This is a very quick method to quickly find out how many percentage are covered or not covered. This is how it says that, right? And suppose if out of 19, 12% says that they're covered, right? Then you can say that it is not more than 75%. It is not more than 75%. So this is how it will tell you that coverage is proper or not of a particular services. In case of children, pregnant women, like this, you can calculate. So only 19 individual you are going to find out, and based on only 19 the individuals survey, you'll be able to find out if the 7 are covered, you can say that it is not more than 50%. If 12 are covered, you can say it is not more than 75%. This is how this study will tell you. So this is for the LPS table. The purpose is quickly find out whether the coverage is there or not. If you have any question, I can answer. Else, we'll be going for the further study. Any questions? And if I ask you a question, where do you apply this? Say, for example, if you are studying in a hospital, you are 10,000 patients. You may not be able to cover whole 10,000 patients, so you divide them into groups. For example, in a weeks, you have 52 weeks in a year. So 52 weeks from each week, you take, let's say, the one individual. If you take a cluster sampling, after 52 weeks, 19 weeks will be clustered. And from 19 weeks, each week you take only one patient randomly. It's a simple random sampling. And 19 patients ask the question whether you are satisfied with the hospital services or not. So quickly, it will tell you how many percentage approximately will be satisfied. Not exactly, but more than or less than. That you can answer. So this is a quick study, loss quality assessment. And the I uh, I just repeat this for 1 minute, that when you want to take a cluster sampling technique, you should write down the name of units over here and the population over here. Write down the number of clusters you want to have, and then you'll automatically get this cumulative population, cumulative sample. You are not concerned with this two column. You are concerned with from where you are want to take a sample. You are concerned with that. And from this concentration, you need to take this sample from this population. This is the name of a village. This is a population from where you need to select. So I am sharing the screen over here. We'll have some different dialogues. The um, my first question is, see, uh, roughly on 20th November will be ending. The next session on Friday. If people are ready, then I will be taking on Friday, the uh, 1st November, and then we'll have a couple of few more sessions. But then now the concentration is to your study your the projects. That's the most important thing. All of you should be writing the projects and discussing. If you want to see the past videos by chance, then in our YouTube it is already there, and you can do that also. So, uh, what I would suggest that you keep your research study ready. You try to do the analysis with AP Info, and there is one free course which, if you have not done, you should be doing. That the at the national level, there's a free course on the biostatistics. Basically, biomedical course is there, and I will share the link with you so that at least that course is free and it is a compulsory for the teacher to do it. So that at least you should be doing. Right? Any question? Venkatesh, have you decided your आपने स्टडी डिसाइड किया है कि कौन सा रिसर्च स्टडी लेने वाले हैं? कितना पॉपुलेशन लेके कितना सैंपल लेंगे? ऐसा कुछ सोचा है? योगस्थ, हाँ वेंकटेश जी आप बोलिए.
Yeah. No, I
हम्म.
have some data with me. I thought I'll do the same thing with that. But I
Okay,
have a
so
very large, but I have a very large data, almost
how much
600 patients data.
have you analyzed yourself or you have asked someone to analyze?
I have already analyzed, so I just want to do some part of that analysis. So
That's
that,
good, but please, if you have done it, so good. If you try to do various status tests, you apply that, and at least you tell us the sampling technique which you have used for that. We are interested in that. Right? You can show us PPT or you can say us, if not now, next time. But we are interested in the finding out the faults, basically. Why? That will improve the next study. There is not a single study in the world which is not having a loophole. So each one
yeah,
of us should be able to appreciate as well as find out how it can be improved better, right?
yeah.
So you
I'll
can
see if
say
I,
that
that
with the,
one. I have another one also, a small study.
yeah,
That I think that is, yeah, that will be much more simpler and just done the percentage analysis of that. That's something like related to pharmacoeconomics in
yeah.
anesthesia.
Personally, I'm interested in more complicated. For the learning purpose, simple one would be better.
Mhm.
So if whatever may be the complication, if I can't solve, I have a couple of statistician, research methodologists, experts, and
Yeah,
would be happy to uh, pick up the challenges. But for the presentation purpose for rest of the group member, that is easier. Yeah, yoga, Sthya, can you tell me something about your topic or like that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I am having two topics, sir, which is we are doing currently
Hmm.
in our OT setup. Actually,
Hmm.
one is a now block and the other one is opiate-free anesthesia. So I will
Hmm.
collect the data and let you know on the November 2nd week, sir.
Yeah. And if possible, also all of you are requested to think beyond your hospital, beyond your state, and I would say the beyond India. You try to collaborate with so many other countries also. Now world is a very one village, one health, one world. So with your research, if it is not too much confidential, then you try to involve others. Even after your study is over, you can involve others for the same study, for multicentric study. Uh, can I hear something from Esham Mahmood? आप कुछ बता सकते हैं? Yeah,
Yes, sir.
please.
Meaning, sir.
Yeah.
Uh, I have collected some data for regarding perceptions and behaviors of cancer patients
Mm-hmm.
towards treatment.
Yeah.
And but unfortunately, I cannot present today. Next week, I will present it with you with the other members, and I will take your help next time.
Yeah. So you all are requested to just see some of the past members, past students are also communicating with me. You can get in future also, and it is not. This is just the game is over on 15th or 20th November. It's my hobby that I continue to interact with you people so that I also sharpen my knowledge. And if I can be helpful in your dissertation, research, etc., that will be my pleasure. Anyone else would like to talk something? Anyone? Okay, so what is your opinion about the next session on the 1st November, Diwali? I'm ready if you're ready. Anyone? Yes or no? Would you like to attend on Diwali? Like to attend, or you have some kind of vacation like this? Yes. Or I will be asking the larger group also, but at least the 6 people can, 5, 6 people can answer. Mhm. Anyone? Okay.
Not
So
possible, sir.
based, yeah. So based on that, feedback will be deciding in a day or two. And thank you all. Right? Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you.